Understanding the birth registration process, legal and financial implications. The legal framework of birth registration. In admiralty law, vessels documented by registration under U.S. laws are entitled to certain privileges and are subject to specific obligations as prescribed for merchant vessels. This principle extends into the birth registration process, where individuals are unknowingly categorized as wards of the state under a commercial framework. At birth, due to their parents' prior birth registration, individuals are considered to be registered, documented vessels or mentally incompetent wards of the state. Under legal marriage, where the state is a third-party contract holder, any offspring are effectively delivered into the jurisdiction of the state. This process is finalized in a delivery room of a federally funded hospital, the port of entry for these newly documented vessels/wards. The trust mechanism behind birth registration. At birth, a record of live birth is created with the child's name in upper and lowercase letters, which is later converted into a certificate of live birth in all capital letters. This distinction is crucial because under trust law, whenever title or money is transferred, a trust is created by operation of law. The birth certificate is then filed with the local registrar and registered with the State Department of Health, Office of Vital Statistics before being forwarded to Washington, D.C. Hospitals receive compensation for each registered birth, as the newly created certificate of birth acts as a warehouse receipt, recording the child as cargo under transportation. The birth registration process effectively establishes a Cestui Que Trust, placing a monetary value on the child based on actuarial estimates of future labor. Monetization and bonding of the birth certificate. Upon registration, a bond is issued against the trust's asset, the individual's future earnings, which is then funded through the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and linked to a Federal Reserve account. This results in the legal title to the birth certificate being vested in the state and held by the alien property custodian in Washington, D.C. The equitable title, labor value, being held by the individual. The governor acting as managing fiduciary trustee. The Secretary of State Registrar overseeing the trust until the individual reaches legal working age. The Secretary of Treasury managing the Federal Reserve account tied to the individual's Social Security number. Once an individual reaches legal working age, their fiduciary status changes upon completing an application form SS5 for a Social Security card. This transfers the fiduciary responsibility of the trust from the state registrar to the individual, making them responsible for tax obligations, licensing fees, and commercial transactions related to the trust entity. The government's authority over registered individuals. Under this system, the state retains the authority to remove children from parental custody, as it is the fiduciary duty of the trustee, the state, to ensure the well-being of its wards. When an individual engages in commerce using their Social Security number, they operate under the jurisdiction of the trust and are subject to licensing taxes, registration fees, and commercial regulations. This structure is legally justified under the Trading with the Enemy Act, which categorizes individuals as residents within a territory occupied by military forces or as residents outside the United States, thus defining them as enemies in commerce. As a fiduciary trustee, the individual is obligated to satisfy financial obligations on behalf of the trust, operate under a licensed tax identifying number, engage in commerce within the federal jurisdiction under commercial admiralty law. The implications of birth registration and potential legal remedies. Understanding the birth registration process is crucial for individuals seeking to reclaim financial and legal sovereignty. By recognizing the fiduciary responsibilities imposed through this system, individuals can explore legal avenues to assert their rights and separate themselves from their corporate legal identity, strawman account. Key considerations include asserting UCC-1 secured creditor status to reclaim control over the trust entity, establishing legal standing to challenge unlawful taxation and licensing requirements, utilizing trust law mechanisms to protect assets from government claims. This knowledge empowers individuals to navigate the financial system more effectively, ensuring that they are not unknowingly subjected to unnecessary financial liabilities and legal constraints. Take control of your legal identity today. By understanding the legal framework behind birth registration, individuals can take proactive steps to establish financial autonomy and legal sovereignty within the current system.